everybody, and welcome back to Rise of the Podcast. I am Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
And I've been renewed for season 2, and I'm Brownie.
Woo! And if you can't tell, I have stains all over my pants. And we will
Jeremy,
get to that
what
story.
did you do?
I had lunch before we started. So,
And you ate like a monkey.
Kara, some of my nicknames. Do you know my nicknames?
Burrito Man, which is how I got my gamer tag, Lady
True.
Burrito.
That is true. Okay, well, that was a fun story. Anyways,
Hold on, explain to me this Burrito Man thing.
so, I have a job, and it...
No!
I know,
During
right?
the course of my travels, I go places. And when I was in Vegas for work, I had a roommate. His name's Andy, good long friend of mine. And Andy and I had to share a room. And so we went to Chipotle. And we go back, and I love Chipotle. I love them so much. There's the whole argument, Qdoba versus Chipotle, which one's better. And it's like, Qdoba's good, but Chipotle is like...
I hate them both. So.
I like
so-
Qdoba.
Chipotle.
I like how it's like we have the complete representation. We have one side, the other side, and then just like I'd rather
completely neutral, like meh.
they remind me too much of Subway, and I hate Subway.
You can email me at contact@Rise of the Podcast and let me know what burrito you like or what place you like better.
Comment below.
Burger King.
Yeah, comment below. Burger King. So we go to our room, we take it to go, and we're sitting there eating, and I've always been known as a messy eater. Always, from the dawn of time. And Andy looks over at me and he's like, "Whoa there, Burrito Man, what are you doing?" Because I was eating my Chipotle burrito and half of it was just all over me. Like all over me. And so we just like laughed at the fact that he called me Burrito Man for the longest time. It stuck. So everybody else has normal nicknames, Steely Dan or Icy Bob or whatever. And
Those are normal nicknames?
I don't know. Leaky the plumber and Sparks the electrician.
My aunts always call me Cara Bear.
Yeah, Care Bear. So I'm Burrito Man, right? It's like doesn't sound like anything else, and it's stuck for a long time at work. I'm talking a long time. So on the way down here, Kara's like, "We should get some Taco Bell. We can have some burritos.
Yo Kiro.
Get the $5
Chalupa box?
the chalupa box or whatever." And I ate, like, we were sitting in the car eating while we were waiting to come in and start. And we come in and I have one cheesy bean burrito left to eat. And I took a bite and I spilled a little bit. Then I cleaned it up, got up, cleaned it up. And I took another bite and it just blew sour cream all over my pants. Like all over.
When I ate mine, I kept the bottom half wrapped in the wrapper. Because, like, whenever you eat anything from Taco Bell, Taco John's, doesn't matter if it's a hard shell, soft shell, stuff is gonna leak.
You eat
no
your hard shell
matter
tacos
what.
like wrapped in their,
Yeah.
swaddled in their taco wrapping?
Yeah.
See, now
I eat my
Chipotle,
burgers the same way.
Chipotle keeps their stuff wrapped in foil and you simply peel the foil. I have since learned, and yes, you keep it in the foil. But Taco Bell is just, they don't like wrap it. You open it up and you eat it.
I just unwrap one end and I just kind of fold it back as I go.
I normally eat like Jeremy eats, where I'm just like.
Yep,
throw the
exactly.
wrapper away.
Wrapper gone.
Unless
if I'm in the
driving.
car, I keep it half wrapped.
So if I'm driving, because the last thing that I want to have, I can't tell you how many times my seatbelt has saved me from dripping on my shirt.
I know.
It's like blap.
Ketchup
I'm like, oh,
and
the
mustard.
seatbelts do keep you safe.
Ketchup or mustard. So then Kara's little tangent when we started off was so she met me. Everybody introduced me to her at work as, "Oh, you hanging out with the Burrito Man? You're dating the Burrito Man or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And so once we got married, somebody called her Lady Burrito.
Well, we were gaming. Jeremy was playing Destiny. This is before I got my own consoles. And Jeremy was playing Destiny with his buddies. And I would always harass Jeremy while he's playing. And finally, at one point, I took the headset and I was talking, and all of his gaming friends were like, "Oh, Lady Burrito," and I was like, "Okay, I can get behind that." So that is now my gamer tag.
Nice.
Well, part of it, but
So, okay, Lady Burrito, right? You'd think, like, when you hear the word Lady Burrito, like, I don't know. It's just funny to me that men and women have different experiences gaming. And Kara will get random friend requests from people to this day. But it's like, her name is Lady and Burrito. Like, how graceful or elegant is that? Like, what makes you want to talk to somebody like that? I don't know.
it's got the word lady in
she's
it.
classy but approachable.
Right? Exactly. But yeah, there was one time I was playing Destiny. I was playing PvP on, I think it was D1. And I think within like a half-hour period, I had gotten like 7 or 8
Friend requests. Yeah.
Messages, friend requests. It was like, nah.
I don't experience it all.
It's like that Lego thing you talked about earlier on that forum.
Yes, exactly.
Like because women make up such a small, like it's a lot more balanced, I think, than people give it credit for. But it's still like they're the minority of like gamers, and like a lot of them have bad experiences, so they don't like really interact with people. So someone actually is like, "Holy crap, a girl's playing this!"
Yeah,
I'm about to friend
I
you.
know.
I might have a chance.
Yeah.
Nah.
Nope. Kara's Lady Burrito. So, in my thinking of telling the burrito story before we got started, it reminded me of one of my most embarrassing moments in middle school. And Chris, you may or may not remember this story. But speaking of men being interested in women, there was a girl I was trying to make conversation with who was sitting at the end of the lunchroom table from me, right? So, remember the middle school lunch tables?
The lunchroom was permanently ingrained in my memory.
Right? So you've got a table, and then you've got the bench seats that have like the 2 bars sticking out, right?
Yeah.
And so I slid down. I was like thinking I was the coolest person in the whole world. There's no one like sitting like between her and me, kitty diagonal from each other. So I like slid down, made some conversation, and then I was sliding back. I slid right off the bench seat onto the floor in front of the whole lunchroom. And I was like so mortified. I mean, everyone started laughing. They really did, because it was like, here you've got me just sliding down and then just whoop right off. You know, I was like,
so
the only thing that would have made
chances with her?
Yes.
Oh,
yep.
Poor Jer Bear.
That never went anywhere.
Poor little middle school Jer Bear.
It was mortifying. And the only thing that would have probably made it funnier is if I would have had like my tray with me. But bar that, I mean, I just,
Can you imagine?
People are going, I mean, and if you remember, Chris, it was like they would do it in waves. So somebody was always in line getting the food, walking to their seat. And then like as one group of people would get done, like new people would sit there type of thing. So it's like I did this and people are walking around laughing and looking down at me. You've got people at other tables laughing and looking at me.
How old were you?
Middle school would have been like, what, 10 to 14 years old, something like that? No,
Yeah,
well, 14
11
is about
eighth
when
grade,
you...
so
11, 12, and
11, 12, 13.
And then 14-ish, because then it'd be like 14 start, and then 14 through 18, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, so 15 is when you start high school.
Yeah, we were on the younger end of the thing, because we would only be like...
That's true.
Because like we're like the last couple of birthdays before...
The next, yeah, you'd
I
start...
graduated at 17.
Yeah, so I was 18 for a month, and Jeremy would have been 18 for like a week.
Yeah, when we graduated.
I was younger than you. Homeschool us for the win!
But yeah, so that was super mortifying. Mortifying.
Mortifying?
That was mortifying.
Words are hard.
It made me
Check
sad.
out that podcast up there.
Oh, you're so
That's
funny.
our most watched episode.
Is it really?
Yeah, because this is the first one with Bill, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
But it was
Oh,
it was
Bill.
fun.
We need to have Bill on again.
We need to have more
I miss
guests
Bill.
on. I want Justin to come back on. I
should've hit
really
him up.
liked that video that he made. How cool is that? The Seth Green version of that movie is like hidden on the track, and he was one of the few people who ripped it off of there. Super cool. So, Kara, you worked at Wendys for how long? And Chris, you've
11
worked at fast
years.
food. Now, we've probably told some stories.
I'm sure we have.
Have you racking your brain on a story you may have not have told?
I don't know. I think I've told the one where I've kicked somebody out of the restaurant.
Yep, somebody threw food at you.
Yeah. I mean, you get the standards. Like, people argue with you about prices of foods. Well, last time I was in here it was 99 cents. Yeah, well, that was like 2 years ago. Like, it's not 99 cents anymore. Go home. You
Don't
know?
come to Wendy's much.
Right? One time I went to hand this guy his Frosty, his 99-cent Frosty. And they always came in like the little, I think it was like 12 ounce. Because I think it was 12, 16, 20 ounces. It was a little 12-ounce cup, and he was this old guy. He was like, "That's not a 99-cent Frosty." I was like, "Yeah, it is. Been working here practically my whole life. It's a 99-cent Frosty." He's like, "No, it's the bigger one's the 99-cent one." I was like, "No, it's not." He's like, "Last time I was in here, it was." And like, he argued with me to no end. I was like, "Sir, this is a 99-cent Frosty. I don't know what I can do for you. This is what you paid for. This is what you're getting." You know? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm trying to think of good ones though.
What was your favorite item to make? Like, if something order came across to make, would you like to make them like easy peasy?
Oh, I don't know. I enjoyed like the Junior Deluxes or like the big sandwiches, because like you hit up every single ingredient, as mayo, ketchup, pickle, onion, tomato, lettuce, mustard, cheese.
Not a sesame seed bun. Just
We did not do sesame seed
that was
buns.
McDonald's.
That was
That was
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
The worst thing was when we got the toaster. Like, it was so nice not having to deal with toasting the big buns and stuff like that.
You
I
never
know
threw
it
them
makes
onto the
them
grill?
better. They weren't toasted. They were warmed up in the microwave and then kept in the bun warmers, but we never had to toast them. And then Wendy's decided to get all fancy schmancy and start toasting the buns, so we had to, like, roll them on the butter wheel, put them in the toaster, and that's...
At McDonald's, the toaster, literally there was just 2 rubber treadmills on the inside.
Yeah.
And the bottom and the top would just go bloop and just go and shoot out at the end when it was done. It was perfect.
That's what we had too.
We didn't butter ours. We literally all we did was toast.
We buttered them because it was basically the same thing. It was like a toaster, but a treadmill toaster, And so on the front of the machine, though, there was a roller that you had melted butter in. So you just go and butter, drop it down the slots. But, like, when you get people coming in and they're like, yeah, I'd like 7 number ones, please. And then you got, like, 20 people behind them willing to order the same thing. It's like...
We really learned how to, like, maximize, like, by, like, staggering how you put them in there or whatever to, like, really get as many buns through as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this is a McDonald's only thing. So the Big Mac bun has 3 pieces to it.
Yeah.
Right. The middle.
Yeah, but not the Big Mac is not like the number 1 selling sandwich there, right?
What
It
is the
should
number
be.
1?
Like a
Quarter pounder?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
But so the Big Mac is the only thing that gets the Big Mac bun. Like every like other premium sandwich gets just the big sesame seed bun.
Right.
Then all the basic tier sandwiches just get the regular bun, right? So we have 3 different types of buns. 2 of them we use a lot for everything, and then once the Big Mac comes around, then you throw the Big Mac bun in, right? So there were 2 things that would happen. We'd run out of quarter pounder type buns all the time. So you just throw the middle part away of the Big Mac bun.
And then use the quarter.
and
use it on a quarter.
because
There you go.
they're the same otherwise. Or we'd run out of quarter pounder buns and we'd toast 2 bottoms. We would take a quarter pounder thing through it, and then we'd throw a top of a second one away and toast another bottom for the middle piece.
Crazy.
So, and like people rarely would be able to tell the difference, but then like I can tell you it's happened to me, and I've done it before where it's like you build the things and it's like because you're just grabbing stuff out of it, you actually make that a 2 bottoms or 2 tops,
Right.
And you're just like you can't be bothered to fix it.
Yeah.
You just send it.
Yeah, it's like it's all bread at the end of the day.
Right.
It's that thing that you deal with it in post. You
Yeah.
deal with the complaint after the fact. Sorry, sir, you can have a free meal. Because at least it gets him out of there and away from home.
I never had anyone complain that I made it out of 2 tops.
Right.
Right? It's just like I think they're just like, it's one of those like evolutionary oddity.
Right.
Where it's like, or like when you order a double cheeseburger and you accidentally get 3 patties because
Right.
people are going so fast. That's happened to me before.
Yeah. Nobody's going to complain about that. Oh, you gave me too much meat.
There's one, I think I told this story before, because there's like the crispy chicken, which is like the deluxe chicken sandwich thing.
Right.
And then there's the McChicken.
I love the McChicken.
And I was actually, people were ordering McChickens, and it was my first day, and I was actually putting the crispy chicken on there. So you get like a $4 sandwich basically, but with like a cheaper bun for $1.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're like, you're giving them the wrong.
You're going to the wrong chicken!
Oh,
You know, and obviously nobody complained about that.
Right.
They're like, wow, McDonald's McChicken is really good.
Right?
They just stepped
The
up
last
their
time
game.
I was here.
Yeah.
They're really up to their game.
Did
Did you have any complaints from people that, like, things were obviously planted in their food? And they would come back and complain and be like, oh, there was a hair in my food. And it's like, yeah, that's your hair. I've had that happen.
Well,
Yeah.
Wendy's is known for their finger in their chili.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
was
I mean-
fake.
I'll tell you what, I started working at Wendy's shortly after the finger in the chili thing happened, which some of our viewers may not have even know what the finger in the chili thing is.
Okay. So
But-
when we were kids, or well, not even kids, 2005-ish,
Yeah, young adults.
about that time, somebody took a finger from somewhere, put it in their chili, and then went back and complained about it.
That there was a finger in their
That there was
chili.
a
And
finger
it
in
was
their
like
chili.
a big deal.
Yep. And then,
Here's
of course, it went
Yeah.
as viral as something could back then.
Somebody would have noticed at some point in making the chili. I can't tell you how many chilies I've made. For pouring out the tomato sauce and the water and everything, at some point somebody would have noticed there was a finger in that chili.
Yeah, or at the point that it was lost.
Yeah,
Right.
if you cut
know.
your thumb off, you would go, might not want to send that chili out the
Yeah.
door with my thumb in it.
Right. Well, and then like the meat, you don't get the meat from some random place. It's the meat that's kind of gotten a little overcooked on the grill.
Yep.
And so you can't serve it. So you save it and then you rinse it off, chop it up and everything all yourself. So you know what's in there. You've chopped it yourself into these tiny little pieces. So there's no way a finger could have gotten through that.
So you mean to tell me the reject beef for burgers is what goes into the chili?
Do you want me to tell you what goes in a hot dog?
I mean, like it's smart. Honestly, I think it's
reduces
still good.
waste.
Like just because at restaurant standard for how they want their hamburgers to represent it, it's not good enough doesn't mean that it's inedible or bad meat.
Totally true.
So it's like I'd rather they do that.
Yeah. And you know how good Wendy's chili actually is?
It is good.
People love that stuff.
I do too.
So chili with beans, I don't like.
Right.
I love beans and chili.
So
I don't love when Jeremy eats beans with chili.
One of the hills I've chosen to die on is like the original quote unquote original recipe for chili did not call for beans.
Really?
And that's why if you go to the store and you buy a can of chili stuff, it says chili with beans. Oh. Right? It doesn't just otherwise it would just be called chili and it'd be like chili minus beans for the non-bean version of it. So it's just like extra filling. I'm just not particularly a fan of beans.
Okay.
Right. I've come to learn that black beans do more damage to what Kara's worried about than brown beans or pinto beans.
Have you switched when you go to Chipotle?
I do. I get pinto now. I love the taste of black beans, but they do not agree with me for later on. I get very flatulent with beans.
That's true.
And then I end up being embarrassed like I was in middle school. It happens.
Poor Jer Bear.
Do you remember the little it's like they're like apple pies or it's like the hard crust thing or whatever, you know what I'm talking about? Like they usually come in a paper wrap, but they used to have them at the middle school lunch thing.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes. So it's just like a hard pastry crust with like apple filling or whatever.
Yep.
So I remember and this was also in middle school. Somebody was like oh, it's like I can't want to have this thing or whatever, I can't eat it or whatever, right? And what they'd done is they'd hollowed it out and filled it with potato salad.
Oh. I love potato salad, but expecting apple pie and getting potato salad pie.
And I like potato salad too, but like apple pie and potato salad they don't
right, one's sweet, one's salty.
And so I take a big bite out of it, and I almost threw up. Yeah. Because of how unexpected it was. Like if somebody told me about it, it was like, "Oh, dare you to eat it" or whatever. It's like you can at least prepare yourself mentally for it. But this is something where it's like I thought it was like rotten apples or something.
Right.
You know, so it's just like, and everyone's laughing or whatever. It's like you tricked me into eating something gross. I don't know how that's like an accomplishment. But.
I've heard that if you take a Mountain Dew can, drain out the Mountain Dew, refill it with coffee, and then seal the hole in the bottom, and somebody goes to take a drink of it, they'll throw up because they're expecting something fizzy and sweet like Mountain Dew, and they end up getting flat and
hot bean
bitter.
Water.
Yeah.
Instead, I've heard it'll actually make somebody throw up. Don't try it at home.
That's interesting.
That's a new challenge. Well, I mean, it's like orange juice is a real one. Like sometimes people serve a glass of orange juice and then they'll have milk with breakfast, right? But if you grab the wrong one and you're not paying attention and you're expecting chalky milk and then you get...
Did you say chalky milk?
Chalky as in CHALKY.
Oh.
Chalky.
I was like, is Baby Yoda in the house?
Yeah.
No, not chocolate chalky milk.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going with it too.
Chalky. Chalky.
Chalky.
Chalky.
Chalky. Versus chalky.
I got you. I feel you.
I guess chalky would be the chocolate, and then chalky.
It's chalky. Yeah. Chalk is chalk. It's not chalk.
Yeah, well, it's like caulk or cock.
Yeah,
right. But so and you expect one, and then you get the tangy bitterness of orange juice, and then blah, it'd just be bad.
I hate orange juice as is. So
speaking of tangy, I love orange juice.
I do too.
Oof, I hate it.
Speaking of tangy bitterness, you're the first person I knew that actually liked drinking grapefruit juice.
I love grapefruit juice.
I like grapefruit juice too.
He likes cranberry juice.
Love cranberry juice.
But you hate prune juice.
I like prunes, but not prune juice. Prune juice is nasty.
My favorite juice is cranberry grape.
That doesn't count.
Oh man, white grape juice is pretty hard to beat.
White grape juice, yes. Yeah,
I used to drink that all the time.
Oh, grapefruit juice is so good.
Do they still make white grape juice?
Oh yeah.
White grapefruit or white grape? Because you said white grape.
Oh, you guys saying white grapefruit? Oh.
It's the salty, or not so, but tangier version of grapefruit juice, right?
Yeah.
I don't even like grapefruit. Like grapefruit.
Grapefruit's delicious. Have you ever had grapefruit with sugar on it?
Yes, I don't like it.
That's a game changer.
Here,
growing
here's
up,
my extent of grapefruit.
nice.
Squirt.
Yep.
There's not even any grapefruit in that.
It's
is there?
grapefruit flavored.
Naturally flavored. So
Ha! Kara's
grapefruit
like,
juice
hey, I'm drinking grapefruit juice over here. All right, go ahead, Chris.
contains 2% or less of grapefruit juice concentrate.
It's still some.
Right.
So growing up, I always thought it was weird. Like the spoons that we had, I thought were strange, right?
Right.
And because like we had, even to this day, so there are like the slightly bigger spoons. They're
Which I
not
hate,
serving
yeah.
spoons.
Soup spoons and then like teaspoons.
Yeah. So like would rather eat something with a fork than with one of those stupid big spoons.
I hate the
Jeremy
big spoons.
too.
It drives me. There's just too much spoon in my
It's too much
mouth. It
spoon.
feels like I'm gonna gag.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like using them for soup.
No, I'd rather use a straw.
Just like put in a blender and just.
I'd rather fold a paper boat and then drink it out of that than use one of those big spoons.
That's
I
funny.
hate those big spoons. So we had some of those. So you have the two different size forks, and either size fork is fine.
Salad,
that doesn't
dessert.
offend me. And then we have these big spoons, and then we had these smaller spoons, but they were sharp and jagged.
Serrated, yeah.
And I was like, I was like, that's weird. I'd never. Those are the only small spoons we had, and I didn't know any better than whatever, So like,
Did you eat your cereal with a jagged spoon?
Yeah, because that's the only small spoons we had. And
Did you cut yourself?
No, never.
Oh.
But it was
Because
just weird.
That's all we had. But like, and I never thought anything of it except for that it's weird that I'd never seen these spoons anywhere else.
Right.
And I learned when I was like 20 that they were grapefruit
Yep.
spoons.
Yeah.
It probably work well for a kiwi.
It would probably. So it's funny, Chris, is those taste more metallic-y to me because of the extra jagged edges in the
That's more
surface
surface
area.
area, yeah.
They taste different on your tongue. But I also grew up with those spoons.
I did not.
But it was a little bit easier for me to know what they were because the handles were grapefruit.
Oh, really?
okay.
Yeah.
I can see your mom
Yeah.
having those.
So not like they weren't a circle, but they were
Right.
long and tubular, and the outside of the handle, like the insulation portion that keeps your hands off the metal, was rind. And then they were
Okay.
cut at a 45, and it revealed the
grapefruit.
reddish grapefruit color.
Yeah.
It had it was like one wedge of grapefruit with little seeds in it. So I was like,
That's
oh, sweet,
cute.
grapefruit spoons. Like, I
yeah,
knew
your
what they
mom,
were because they
your
were.
mom would totally have those.
Yeah.
She has really cute silverware at her house. It's cast out of metal, but it looks like branches off a tree.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
super cute. And it's
So
all
yeah, it
silver.
starts out with a fork, but then it molds into what looks like a metal tree branch.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And he always has really cute.
It's what the ants use.
has
to
really
eat.
cute.
Yeah.
Right. Tree
That'd be
beer.
like us eating with a fork made out of someone's
Oh,
arm.
that's
gosh,
that's just
ew.
waiting to happen. This could be a fork.
And then what? This is a spoon.
Yep.
Yep.
And this is a knife.
Could you imagine buttering your bread with a piece of hand?
Well, you gotta think like you know how they
Karate
shrink.
chop
They
butter.
shrink heads,
Right.
right? You just like shrink an arm.
Oh man, that's like an episode of Black Mirror where then it gets to be to the point where people like only use real shrunken human.
Yeah.
Like it's
right.
real.
Oh, so speaking of Black Mirror and how crazy this year has been, somebody said, oh, it's so nice of the makers of Black Mirror to make 2020 interactive for us.
Yeah.
I've seen there's so many of those jokes. The
Yeah.
Back to the Future one, don't ever set it to 2020. There
Yeah.
is like, what's 2021 gonna hold in store for us?
I
And
saw one that said that the Mayan
calendar was off by
maker,
8 years.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that the guy who made it was dyslexic, and it was actually supposed to say 2021, not 2012. So
Aw.
2021 is going to be even worse.
I heard that there was one where it was like there was some year, like they added on some years when
Yeah,
they
when
switched
they
from
switched
Gregorian
from
to
the
Yeah, we
Julian
lost
to
8
Gregorian
years.
calendar.
yeah,
Yeah.
we lost 8, so it's actually 2012 or
Which
something. like that.
the difference is actually only like 46 days. So
Yeah.
Right. It's just the whole
Yeah.
like people post stuff on the internet, and no one fact checks it
Right? Like Abraham Lincoln when he said, "Don't believe everything you read on,
on the internet. I love
Yeah.
that quote. I absolutely love that
good
quote.
stuff.
But so
I just thought it was funny. So.
sort of like pseudo related to that, in my D&D group, I play a sorcerer,
Mm-hmm.
and I make references to modern technology all the time, and then everyone's like, role playing.
yeah.
Whatever, like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, that's right, you wouldn't know about that.
Yeah.
yet.
That is fun.
Maybe too early for you, but your kids are going to love it.
I actually made that. Okay, this is a funny story. So we had an encounter at a carnival, right? and there's this haunted like organ that's like playing this music that's making these enemies spawn.
Okay.
So I have an ability called Mage Hand, right? And you can just cast like this ethereal hand that can do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I cast it, and I'm playing other music on the piano with it, which I didn't have to do a check for because the last time we did a performance check, I rolled a natural 20. So I'm like a virtuoso piano player.
Oh.
So like I'm playing all these things or whatever, and then when the control of the piano is necessary for the battle, right? So I'm like fighting off something else that's trying to play this piano.
That's fun.
And then every time the song changes in Discord, Jim would play. He's like, "What song are you gonna play now?" And he would find a piano version of that song and start playing it in Discord.
Cool.
That's cool.
And I was like, "That's so freaking awesome."
That is cool. That group sounds like a lot of fun.
So
Yeah.
I ended with like a. At the very end, there was like these 3 different pieces of music that we had to be played at the same time. So I was playing one with my character, and then having the mage hand play another one,
Oh, cool.
Okay.
or whatever. And then like all this like crazy stuff happens, and everyone's like stops at the end. Is like, well, I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet.
Yes.
So I made that literally exact same
That's
joke
funny.
with my character. So yeah, it was a fun game yesterday.
That sounds like
Did you
a
stay
good
up
time.
until 3 a.m.?
No, we actually got through all the content a little bit quicker than we were supposed to, so we only played for probably about 3 hours. So
That's pretty cool. I like hearing your D&D story, Chris. And then you like the way they're doing it. They have like an online.
yeah, we play online. We use
Yeah.
a website called Roll20, and like it keeps your character sheet on there, and then it actually has maps, and it's like everything's all gridded out, so you know exactly how far you can move and where you can hit stuff with your spells and what you can't do.
Oh, that's
so.
cool.
So a little.
Procedurally, it makes it go a lot faster, and you don't get as much like side conversation that bogs everything down.
Right.
So,
That sounds pretty cool.
yeah, it was a good time.
So,
I have another story, but it's like way longer and needs a lot of context for it, so I'll save that for after the podcast.
Got it. A D&D one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the D&D stories. The one where you like, woo, boom, belly flopped on a bow of
It's
spikes.
directly related to that, actually.
But we'll save it till after the podcast. But so you guys got to learn today. You got to learn about how I became Burrito Man. It's because I don't know how to eat Chipotle, and Andy called me that, and it stuck.
So I'm curious. So when I eat burritos, I know how full they pack them. So the other day we got Qdoba, and normally I'll get their salad bowl with like the crunchy shell and everything. And last time we got it, I was like, a burrito actually sounds good.
Burritos are good.
So I told Jeremy, I was like, can you grab me a fork? And Jeremy was like, for your burrito? I was like, yeah. Because what I like to do is I like to eat the top. And then it gets so full that when you take a bite, things tend to just fall out. Mm-hmm. So I take the fork and I eat the insides.
Okay.
So I don't make a mess. And then I'll eat down
Kara's
some
like
more.
hunting her kill, be like,
Well, so I have a burrito eating strategy, and it's based because like you're talking to say there's like you take a bite and the stuff gets forced down into the burrito, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll go in to line up for the bite, and I'll actually squeeze the stuff forward to keep it like proportionally distributed through the thing.
like a roll of toothpaste.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like so instead of going in, biting, and then having it forced down, and then you have to deal with that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you go and you line up your bite, and then you just give that
Give it a
pressure
little
back.
squeeze. Okay.
So that it stays proportionate throughout the whole thing, so you don't end up with like 80% of your
Right.
filling in the last 2 bites.
In your
Right.
lap.
Yeah.
Like Jeremy.
So Jeremy's problem, because he had a hole in it, if he would have done that, it would have just been like shooting out.
Right.
Yeah, it would have.
So that-
you had to keep it wrapped up, especially when it drips on you once. It's like, fool me once,
Shame on you.
fool me twice, shame on me. And that was a shame on
You
you.
can't fool the fooler.
Nope.
Or whatever George Bush said.
Yeah.
Oh my
I just wear
gosh.
my food stains as a pride of.
Oh, so Jeremy is so klutzy with food. One time he went shopping
Oh, yeah. This
at
was
Eddie Bauer, and he had gotten himself some new shirts. Nice new shirts, flannels, cute, whatever. Decided to stop at Caribou in the mall.
Get a coffee.
And he got himself a coffee. And were you just walking, or did
I was
you
walking
take
out
a
to
drink?
the car. I was walking out. I took a drink.
And,
Because
yeah, go ahead.
So cups of coffee, right? Law of aerodynamics. When you take a drink, all coffee shops put a little tiny pinhole on the other side of where you drink from. So when you put it back down, your air pulls in, so you don't get the the little back blow of air.
Yeah,
entering.
because otherwise it would create a vacuum.
And so because they punch 100 million holes, a day, the hole didn't punch through all the way on the lid. So when I pulled it away from my mouth, it did like the air rushed in, and then the coffee went down and then sloshed back up, came right out, and I could like see it in slow mo. So I was holding my bag of clothes, brand new clothes, in my one hand, and bring the coffee down, and I could see it in slow mo. The coffee went bloop.
Oh,
right on his brand new shirt.
Right into my brand new shirt. Got like brand new. Did I get mochas? So it's chocolate and coffee melted together. Just boom, right into the shirt. I looked in there and it was like, the stain never came out.
No, it didn't.
It never came out. Because then I was, where do I go? I don't have it at home. I can't wash the shirt. I can't.
When you did get home, didn't you wash it?
I tried.
Hot?
Well, I wanted it clean.
It was a white. It's like a cream colored flannel. And you ended up washing with jeans or something like that.
And then it
ended up coming out like a light blue instead. Jeremy doesn't separate colors.
No, everything.
It's like everything in one.
Cold water clean.
What I do is I do everything in autumn earth tones, and I just wash everything together. Okay. I don't own anything that's like bright or vibrant or white. It's all in the blue, brown, orange, red, dark spectrum.
Okay.
So that it's just all lives there, and so I don't have to sort anything out. And I have black socks.
Yeah, there you go.
I sort.
I'm not the only one.
Because with towels, you're not supposed to wash it with fabric softener because it can make it smell musty.
I don't wash anything with fabric softener.
Oh, we use fabric softener.
I don't have enough money for fabric softener. I literally just go Tide Pod and it's good.
Hey, that works.
So I also I'm wearing work clothes right now because I don't own casual clothes right now.
Someday, Chris, we'll maybe we'll upgrade to dryer sheets.
Dryer sheets. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
That's my food story.
Yeah, I can't think of any particular ones.
No. I
do have one. Okay, so this is the story of the first time I ate so much that I couldn't hold it down.
Oh.
Go for it.
Been there.
So, I remember this so vividly. So, growing up, there's some, there are foods that are, your favorites growing up, right? And one of my favorites is what my dad called Spanish rice. It's not exactly what, Spanish rice you get, in a restaurant. It was, the easy make-it-home version. So, it's just instant white rice and tomato soup, right? And then you use the soup as your volume of liquid you'd use to normally cook your rice,
right?
So it's infused with that whatever, and then you can season it up or whatever, and then we would normally brown up some hamburger and throw it in there.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's and I still love it to this day. I just don't make it very often because who can be bothered? Right. But my dad used to make just huge. It'd be like two of those giant family size cans of tomato soup.
Dang.
And then so it's that plus water or milk or whatever, however you want to make your soup, right? And then it's 12 cups of rice or something. So this massive batch of this stuff.
Holy cow!
And I loved it. It was so good. And I ate I don't even know how many bowls of it, but I ate it way too fast. Was the problem, right? Mm-hmm. And so. It's I'm eating it and my dad or my mom, someone told me it was you need to slow down, right? So it's I stopped after probably 4 bowls of it or something, right?
Oh my gosh!
But it just pounded it down because I was so excited to eat it. And about a half hour later, so the interesting thing about rice is even when you're done cooking with it, it can still absorb more,
right? Yeah,
and it expands. So what we figured ended up happening is I ate and I was okay, I feel all right, but then I was oh, I feel really full. And then it's I started feeling fuller and fuller, which you do feel fuller and fuller after you eat anyway.
Yeah.
But, to a point where it was painful. So then I was oh, and I'm I decided I'm gonna go to the bathroom and try to do something about it. And I was I literally, it wasn't I needed to throw up. It was the volume was so much it just forced itself out.
Oh.
And it's just and because I hadn't had any time to digest it or anything. It just looked like I just dumped a bowl of it on the floor.
Oh, gross.
And I was yuck.
Oh, poor Chris.
Now, did you eat it after that?
No.
No, but no, Chris, no, not that. Have you had Spanish rice after?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a bad experience with a food.
Yeah.
And that memory, oh no.
Chris is just down the
Chris is no, I did not eat it again. Why would you
just
say
took
that?
A spoon. Oh, it's so good.
No, I've many times after that.
Oh, okay, all right.
I have had foods ruined with experiences like
Lasagna
that.
was that way for me for a while. It's one of my favorite foods, and I ate a batch with it. Was prepared with like either bad bad feta cheese or bad cheese, and I got sick and threw it up. And it took me many years to try lasagna again because it's like, oh, I don't want to have that food again.
I had popcorn with too much butter on it one time, and I couldn't eat popcorn for a while after that. I puked it up. It was so bad.
I don't know if I don't know if there's too much butter for me for popcorn. I used to. We had these like little like coffee cups. They have like a little curly handle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like an 8 or 10 ounce cup or something. And we would use those for like melting things in the.
Yeah.
We had weird plateware and stuff growing up. Like we had like a full like coffee service set, but like my parents obviously were the only people in the house that drank coffee. They just drank it out of mugs.
Right.
So it's like we would just find ways to use these random things. So what we would do is like if we made popcorn, we'd put like some butter in there and melt it up to do whatever. Well, I did like a full thing of freaking butter into a bag of popcorn. Like the popcorn was like physically just like soggy from butter. And that was my favorite bag of popcorn I've ever had.
No, it was really good eating it, but it was so much grease. I was like,
I can't justify doing it again. I think about it sometimes. I'm like, I should just go get a stick of butter and some popcorn and just do it. But it's like just thinking about how like terrible that has to be for you. I can't convince myself that it's okay.
Seriously.
Have I made you Alton Brown popcorn yet?
Oh,
No.
you need to come over and have Alton Brown popcorn.
It's my favorite way to make popcorn now.
Alton Brown's
make it
perfect popcorn, isn't it?
Yep, you make it in a steel bowl, directly in the steel bowl with just seeds and then whatever
And
type
peanut
of
oil?
neutral. You can use any neutral oil you
so like
like.
grapeseed or peanut or
Grapeseed? How many grape seeds do you need to make a grapeseed oil? Dang. Grapeseed's that big.
who knows?
Nobody
eats them though, so I mean.
But yeah, so you just put it in a bowl, and then the way that like the shape of a bowl is, the popcorn and the heat, like it can.
Well, do you ever make Jiffy Pop over a campfire or anything as a kid? Same idea. You just put the kernels into a metal bowl with the salt and the oil, cover it with foil, and then shake it over the heat.
Yeah,
and it's the same idea as Jiffy Pop.
Not the microwave.
Not the microwave, and you salt
not
the
a metal
seeds.
bowl in the microwave.
But you actually salt the seeds before you cook them, and then as it pops, the salt stays with the kernel.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you use a popcorn salt. So we didn't have popcorn salt. So all I did was I took our salt and I put it in the coffee grinder and just ground it up.
Did you have salty coffee?
Yeah, right. Which is a thing, by the way.
cleaned
People
it.
put salt in coffee and butter in coffee.
Mm-hmm. Butter and coffee is really good, actually.
Yeah.
I have another food story.
Peanut butter and chili is one I've wanted to try, but
I mean, I can see that being peanut butter complements a lot of things.
yeah, it does.
But not chili.
Yeah, it does. It makes it oily and hearty and delicious. Okay, food story.
So speaking of like adding like salt or butter to things or whatever. So when I worked at McDonald's, we had what were called courtesy breaks. You can go grab a soda, take like 2 minutes to like, because it's hot.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Freshen up.
So depending on how lax your manager was, you could just keep a beverage somewhere sort of near you. So like if you just needed to step away for a second to get a drink and then put it back. And so some managers were like, "That's completely inappropriate to have like a personal beverage around the food preparation area." I get that. And some of them didn't care, and I get that too. I didn't care when I was in charge.
I was gonna say I was a pretty lax manager, I feel.
But there was one, and he was my absolute favorite manager. I loved working with him. But he had a hard no beverages in the prep area, or the prep or assembly area rule. And I thought I was being sneaky. And like on the top of the heater cabinet, there was like a little thing or whatever. It's like so you could like open it up and whatever.
Yep.
He found it and he dumped a ton of salt in it. So I go to take a drink
of
like a Diet Coke, and it was like I almost threw up again because it's like the unexpected. Like it was like taking a hit of salt water.
Oh.
And I was like, "Ugh," and he's like, "Oh, I wonder what happened." And I was like, I'm not going to tell him that I took a big drink of an illicit drink.
Right.
But like came to light later that it was all his doing.
What I was going to say is like a big deal with that is if it gets knocked over, right? All the prep area. So with him tainting your beverage, you could have literally went and just sprayed it everywhere, and then that would have been the reason why you don't have it there in the first place, is that so it would have been made more work for you if you weren't able to like handle it.
When it was during busy times, I was a bit more strict about like keeping food, like drink by the food area.
Yeah.
Because you're moving around really fast. You're not necessarily paying attention to knocking things over.
Yep.
So during busy times, a bit more strict. During like between 2 and 5, whatever. And then when I closed, I had a drink up by like as the manager. I would be the one bagging food because then I don't have an area to close, and then I can focus on like counting the money and making sure everybody else is getting their stuff done. So I'd always keep a drink up by the bagging area with me.
Yep. So yeah, another. People like messing with my food is what I'm coming to realize.
You're safe here, Chris. You're safe here.
So somebody keeps threatening to cook a sous vide steak for me.
Well, he should. Those I heard are good.
Yeah. So
is that the bag and hot water one?
Yeah. So I've never had it, but it sounds like the best way to make a steak to me.
It does sound really good. You basically, it's like you cook a steak for a really long time, but in just the barely like degree temperature that'll actually start to cook the meat. So really low temperature, long time.
It's like it's vacuum sealed in a bag.
Oh, so it keeps all the moisture in.
Yeah, and then it's submerged in water. And I think what's the food safe temperature for steak? Like 165.
No, you can eat it at like 145.
So it's like 130 degree water.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like warmish, a little bit more than warm bath water.
So it's like smoking a steak.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a long time to do it.
And then when you're done, you take it out and you sear it in a cast iron pan or something. So it gets it up to the final temperature, but it's still, pink in the middle and everything. And all of the juices stay with the steak the entire time.
Yeah, Bernie makes sous vide steaks.
I wonder if you could put some sort of marinade in the bag with it so that it
good.
I love marinades.
Kara's going to go buy a sous vide steak set now.
Yeah, dang right I am.
Film it for an episode, a Thursday video.
And we'll call it
Cooking with Kara.
Cooking with Kara. But then, I'm blanking on the name of the dewback. We'll call it a dewback steak.
Why dewback?
Or a bantha steak.
Why? Because we're Star Wars?
Star Wars.
So you have to. Why do you call it a Jawa steak?
Wookiee steak.
You could feed it to the Mandalorian.
Because Jawas are
Wookiees are too far, Chris.
Banthas and dewbacks are animals.
Well, depending on from a certain point of view.
From the Care Bear point of view.
I've seen the Mandalorian. Those Jawas are animals.
Yeah, the way they attack that egg.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, seriously. I love how you add extra syllables in there.
What?
Ootantini. It's ootini.
Yeah.
Ootini.
No. Ootantini.
Dance Club remix.
Just beatboxing Jawas.
I'm thinking of a funny viral video doing something like that. That'd be funny. Oh, Kara, now you're saying what I'm saying. Well, when Kara starts saying what I'm saying, I think that we are time to wrap up, Chris.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Like this video if you made it this far into it. Comment down below what Star Wars animal you want to eat.
Yeah.
So,
don't say porgs. I will kill you.
Oh,
hey, porgs!
Porgs are completely edible.
They are.
Subscribe if you're not already. Ring the notification bell if you want to be notified every time we upload a video or when we go live. We're inching ever closer to being able to go live. Actually, comment down below, too, if we were to go live on Saturdays, what time you'd want us to go live. Central Daylight Time only. Jeremy the Rogue putting his hat on.
That's because the end. It's the end.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and of course,
may the Force be with you.